Bellator 282 predictions and the betting breakdown. Main event is Gegard Mousasi versus Johnny Eblen. We'll cover the key fights on the card and talk about the betting side as well. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and share the video as well. Let's jump into the featured prelim of the night. Brent Primus versus Alexander Shabliy. For me, it was really hard to go against Shabliy here. I mean, unbeaten in Bellator so far. I mean, obviously not a ton of fights in the organization, just 2 dominant performances. Seems to have a really well-rounded striking / grappling game. Chains the 2 together well, whereas Primus, definitely really dangerous with his jiu-jitsu, and against guys without that top-tier wrestling base is going to be able to get on top of them and out-wrestle them. I think Shabliy will be too well-rounded. On the ground, I see the wrestling of Shabliy stopping the takedown attempts from Primus, and I don't feel like Primus will be super successful on the feet. If Shabliy decides, hey, I want to go to the ground with Brent Primus, of course, there's a risk of doing that because Primus is dangerous off the back and he throws up consistent submission attempts. He's a very active fighter from the bottom. I still think Alexander Shabliy wins, though. I feel like he's going to control where the fight goes, dictate the pace of the fight, and he is clearly the better striker, and I do also believe better offensive wrestler, and I think that'll lead him to victory. I feel like it's going the full 3. I'm going to go Alexander Shabliy by decision. Looking at the betting side here, Brent Primus is a dog, plus 164. Alexander is the minus 181 favorite. Those are best value lines. I see the side of Alexander Shabliy by decision. As I said, dictates the pace, wins the fight. I like Brent Primus, though, and I mean, I feel like he's a difficult fight for a lot of the top guys in Bellator. His loss even to Islam Magomedov, that he's being more active from the bottom, and then wins against Benson Henderson. And now they just throw him to like the top prospect on the rise, or at least one of them in the weight class. Hard matchup. Unfortunate for Brent Primus on the prelims. Getting thrown to the young Lions. Brennan Ward versus Kassius Kayne. Guys, I'm going to be going with Kassius Kayne here. He's been more active. Look at this. Brennan Ward, right? Nearly 5 years ago, he comes back and he beats 10-10 Brandon Bell in a fight where he was just going wild. He was super aggressive. He was fun to watch. I love the Brennan Ward comeback story. Don't get me wrong. I am a fan of him too. From Connecticut. Fighting in Connecticut. I just have a bad feeling he's losing at home here. You look at the activity rate. I know there's a lot of losses here, but more consistent activity, fighting like nearly once a year or so. You know, nearly 2 years ago, Macon Mendoza ends up beating Kayne by decision. But Macon's not an easy fight. He's also fighting early on the prelims on this card. I feel like Brennan Ward might get into a bit of trouble here. I don't feel like he looked great against Brandon Bell. It was super aggressive style, huge flurries. Kassius Kayne is actually pretty decent with this kickboxing, rangy guy. Bit of a scrappy striker who likes to brawl, but he starts fast, man. And I mean, Ward is a do-or-die style. And I really feel like he might get caught and stopped in this fight. Because I think he's going to give it all he's got. And it's going to be a striking battle between 2. I like the range edge for Kayne as well. 6'1 to 5'10", 76-inch reach to 71. And I just feel like Kayne has better straight punches. More technical stand-up versus powerhouse, aggressive, brawling. I'm going to weather, you got to weather the storm, really. He's going to totally weather his opponents down by just constant pressure and just put the pace on him. I think struggles with Kayne here, and I'm going to ride Kayne by upset. Knockout. Unfortunate as a Brennan Ward fan. Granted, I'll want to see him win. Value on the line, very positive towards Kayne. Plus 236 is the dog. Ward, the minus 240 favorite. I think Kayne's a live underdog, guys. And I do think this fight definitely ends inside of the distance. I like the under 2.5 a ton here between these two. Fun fight to start off the main card. Next one. It is the tournament quarterfinal matchup. Magomedov and Enrique Barzola. It's a good fight. Barzola's looked well in Bellator, but I don't see him beating Magomedov. I think Magomedov is too well-rounded. He has really good wrestling. He's got technical kickboxing, very quick with his kicks, good jab, controls distance really well with his lead hand, super like upright kickboxing style, but very light on his feet, moves in and out of range well. I really like the style of Magomedov. Now, looking towards Barzola, he's a strong wrestler with a very pressure-heavy game. He comes to get inside, put the pace on you, take you down, beat you up. He definitely has submissions as well. But Magomedov, I think, is just too well-rounded. In the wrestling, I see Magomedov being defensively sound. On the striking, I think he has a clear-cut edge. Now, method of victory is not super easy to pick here for me, but I am going to go decision because, I mean, you look at some recent wins, submission for Magomedov. Barzola's not going to be an easy guy to tap. He had a draw with Hani Yahya in the UFC, who's, a grappling ace. I do think Magomedov gets his hand raised, though. He's a very dangerous guy, someone to keep an eye on at 135 on just a world stage across all MMA organizations. And, I mean, just lost to Stotts in the last fight, who's top line, and now the interim champion here in Bellator. I think Magomedov bounces back from that defeat, gets himself a win over Enrique Barzola. I am going to go decision, though, and I think he probably outstrikes him, fends off takedown attempts, but don't be surprised when he mixes in some of his own. Looking at the line, Magomedov, minus 154 is the favorite. Barzola, plus 148 as the dog. Give me that Magomedov side for the win. Let's get to the co-main event. Leandro Higo versus Danny Sabatello. The Italian gangster's having a coming out party here. I don't think this fight is close. Higo, even in his win over Darrion Caldwell, he's on his back a ton. And this is like Darrion light Caldwell. This is Caldwell, really seems like he's slipping downward Caldwell. I think that Danny Sabatello is on his way to being, I feel like, challenging for the belt, if not like getting right up there as far as top Bellator bantamweights. I feel like he's going to wrestle Higo's ass off for 3 rounds, beat him up from the top position, talk his smack, irritate him. And you know what? The lines totally agree here because Sabatello is a giant favorite. It's not competitive. Minus 509 Sabatello, Higo plus 431. Danny Sabatello for the win. And I don't think it's a competitive fight. Like Higo, he has decent Muay Thai striking on the feet, but I think he's going to be on his back. He's active from the bottom, certainly, and does have a decent jiu-jitsu game, but Sabatello is extremely heavy in the top position. I don't see him making too many mistakes from the top and getting caught in something stupid. I see him just beating on Leandro Higo with peppering ground and pound. I don't think like he beats his face in. I'm seeing a 30-27 across the board is the prediction for the scorecards here, and it's Danny Sabatello win by a unanimous decision, and he'll move on in this tournament going to the semifinals. That's pretty exciting for him because he was passed up on by the UFC because of the grinding wrestling style, but I knew he was going to be pretty damn good. Big pickup for Bellator. Let's jump to the main event. If you guys have not yet, make sure to smash the hell out of the like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Keep it locked in here at MMA Experts. Let's talk about it. It's Gegard Mousasi and Johnny Eblen. Eblen is a great matchup for Mousasi. I am picking the Gegard side. I'm going to tell you guys out the gate. I just feel he's too well-rounded. Even if you take him down, he has good reversals. Not an easy guy to keep down. Active from the bottom. Even you look at the fight against King Mo in his prime. He lost that fight. Mousasi was winning that fight from the bottom. Eblen, I don't see having that ability to just hold Mousasi down for the full 5. I think at points, Mousasi's going to have success striking. I do think Eblen will land takedowns, and I won't be shocked if he wins the first, maybe wins the second, but what happens third, fourth? Mousasi's going to keep coming. He's going to keep striking with him. Clearly, I think the better striker is Gegard Mousasi. Johnny Eblen likes to switch those stances up. Concern is straight punches down the line from Gegard Mousasi could catch him. I feel like Mousasi may hurt him a bit on the feet. On the ground, don't be surprised if Mousasi reverses position and gets some ground and pound off. You look towards the John Salter fight. Eblen nearly got submitted in that matchup. Let's note that. The triangle / arm bar was like close to being locked in. Mousasi against Salter is taken down and controlled a bit, but then Mousasi reverses position and gets a ground and pound TKO, and he did it multiple times in that fight. I could feel him doing the same thing here with Johnny Eblen. I feel as though it's going to be Mousasi with a late TKO. I'm thinking third, fourth round KO TKO for Gegard Mousasi, and he'll give Johnny Eblen his first official defeat. I like Eblen a lot, though. He is an underdog. If you're looking just value bet side, I mean, he's a plus 240 dog. Mousasi at the minus 260 favorite status. I'm picking Mousasi to win, though. I've slept on Mousasi before and definitely have made big mistakes doing so. I mean, you look at the last fight, Mousasi destroyed Austin Vanderford, and it wasn't even close. He's still incredibly dangerous striking, and if Eblen is switching those stances, I could see him getting countered, caught, dropped, and stopped even earlier than the third and fourth. But I'm going to bank on the third and fourth because I expect a very heavy Eblen wrestling game. He's going to want the fight on the mat. Mousasi's going to have to force stand-ups or force like a position reversal. Something against the cage is probably what we're going to see. Mousasi wall walking, peppering shots from the clinch. Minimal ground and pound, but Eblen attempting. But I do think Eblen will get a bit confident to strike a bit, and I think that could get him in trouble. Wanting to strike could get Eblen in serious danger here. I'm going to go Gegard Mousasi. I'm going stoppage, KO, TKO, third or fourth round. Main event for Bellator. And a pretty interesting fight nonetheless. I mean, Mousasi with a win here, I mean, argument is right at the top for some of like the elite talent the middleweight division's ever seen, and I'd love to see him fight Israel Adesanya. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to get those matchups. That is the key fights to talk about for Bellator. I mean, if you are looking to play the prelims, there are like Cody Law, extremely confident play always, right? The guy just seems to be the next big thing. You can look towards Sabatello, who I do think probably knocks out Magomed Mendoza, but I don't push the side of really playing those Bellator prelims too much. You got to be very cautious with Bellator overall. You start getting into the prelims, you put yourself in very risky territory. I hope you guys enjoyed the key fight predictions. Let me know in the comments what you think. Make sure to smash the hell out of the like button. Subscribe if you're new and turn on those post notifications too. If you don't have anything to say in the comments, but you just enjoy the content, drop a W in the chat to support your boy. Much love, my people, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, guys.